Sanibonani, Dumelang, Avusheni, Dumela, Moroi. My name is Chido Zinotyiwei, and I'm the co-founder of Vambo Academy. With these greetings that I've just shared with you, you'll be able to say hello and start building rapport with over 70 million people in Southern Africa. And this is the power that our business Vambo Academy is allowing people to have in terms of indigenous languages. Before I tell you about our business, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. I was born in Zimbabwe, and at the age of 7, my family moved to South Africa. Everything was new, the roads, the food, and I just wanted to share it with the children around me. But unfortunately, I couldn't speak English, so my only friend was my little sister. After deciding that I was not going to let my language barrier get me down, I decided to focus and to learn the languages that my peers were speaking. So I became quite good at English and isiZulu, which is spoken locally in South Africa. And I even started winning awards for these languages. But after some time, I started noticing that I was losing my own mother tongue, Chishona. I was losing the vocab and my accent started sounding a little bit funny. So I decided to take my old Chishona books and go through them to reteach myself Chishona. I learned the basics, some grammar, and some vocab. But before I knew it, this Shona girl was back on track. I could speak Shona to anyone and anywhere. About a decade later, I realized that this problem wasn't one that I only had, but was a problem that faced a lot of children that had grown up out of the diaspora and people who had just lost touch with their mother tongue. So I started teaching AJ when he was 6. On Saturdays, I would drive to his house with my printed and laminated flashcards, and I would teach him how to speak Chishona. Fast forward to a couple of years, AJ is such a great Shona speaker, and he's able to read and write. And he even took his sister's introductory class. His sister is now learning the language through our online platform, which my co-founder and I have developed. But the journey to Vambo Academy wasn't so smooth. When my co-founder and I decided that we wanted to take this passion project and make it into something big, we realized that we had some knowledge gaps that we had to fill. So over a period of about 2.5 years, we decided to invest in our linguistic and technological knowledge. We didn't just decide to learn, but we decided to also learn by doing. So we developed 2 versions of our platform. The first version looked like what we wanted, and it gave us a lot of hope, but it was not scalable. So we decided to then pilot 2 languages to really figure out our secret formula on how we were going to be teaching these indigenous languages. Once we had the secret formula down, we went all in and invested in the platform that we have today. And I introduce you to Vambo Academy, a platform that currently has 12 African languages and is growing and scaling by adding more African languages as we go. Our business is addressing linguistic and strategic, as well as economic and social challenges. At the moment, the cost of tutors in the market is not certain because indigenous languages, there hasn't been a centralized space for people to learn indigenous languages. There's also a limited availability of translators for these languages, but it is important to have translators and interpreters as there are 1.14 billion people on the African continent, and these people need to be communicated with. The current length of courses at the moment on the market is in tertiary institutions, and it is quite formalized. It is not friendly for children or beginners. Indigenous languages are endangered, and it is our duty to preserve them and find a way in order to keep our heritage and the things that attach to our identity. There's also a massive scope of economic opportunity and jobs that we're able to create through indigenous languages, which is one skill that most Africans have mastered. And we're also addressing the interest in cultural heritage and identity. So we've created a digital platform that is accessible on desktop and mobile devices. I'll invite you to watch a 30-second clip on how our self-learning tool works. Thank you for watching our demo. Our total available market is 175 million in sub-Saharan Africa, and we are looking to target 16 million of that 175. This 60 million will be made out of parents who are looking to enroll their children in order to support their language learning. For context, in South Africa, there are 12 million children in primary and secondary schools, and it is compulsory for all of them to learn an indigenous language in the country. We're also looking to target travelers and expats who are coming into the continent and who are looking to localize their experiences. In addition, we're also targeting professionals and migrant laborers who are looking to add value by knowing an indigenous language and being able to communicate with more people on the continent. Our revenue model includes 4 different pillars at the moment. One is the pay per lesson pillar, where someone can pay for a 45-minute lesson with one of our experienced tutors. This is a one-on-one or group session which is live. Someone can also subscribe to our self-learning tool, which I just showed you in the demo, for $10 per month, and they'll have access to all the languages that we have on the platform. We also offer translation services, and the average cost of this is $60 per hour. And we're currently piloting a subscription service for schools. Our direct competitors use self-led language learning technology, and these are the likes of Duolingo and Ambani Africa. And we've identified our indirect competitors as our potential allies. These are partners that we're working with to improve our offering, such as traditional language tutors, schools, and ministries of education in different African countries. Our competitive advantage is that we have greater language diversity. We're offering languages that have never had an opportunity to be taught, whose resources have never been created in order for people who've never learned these languages to learn them. We also offer additional resources, such as dictionary and blogs on cultural aspects of the language. So we're not just teaching you the methodological ways of learning the language, but we're also teaching you about its heritage and the other nuances around it. We're also creating jobs for tutors, translators, interpreters, and more. This allows us to create more authentic content and to learn better ways on how to teach and learn indigenous languages from the people who've been speaking it for decades. We have had over 600 lessons since we launched. When we started building, we decided to pilot with our lessons, and since launch, these have skyrocketed. Our subscription service is also growing, although this data is showing for the 3 pilot languages that we use for our subscription service. Our team consists of people who are extremely passionate about indigenous languages. Collectively, we have a master's in development finance, master's in linguistics, and over 3 years in teacher training and development. In addition, we've got 3 technical developers that are always keeping us up to speed with technological advancements in the EdTech space. We also have a growing team of tutors and translators who are based in the African countries which we represent. We're contributing to the Sustainable Development Goals by promoting inclusive lifelong learning opportunities. We're also creating opportunities to improve the quality of education and educators on the African continent, which allows us to address income inequality. We're strengthening the innovation capacity because with the data and the insights that we're gathering, more solutions can be made for the African continent. We've got partners and funders from Africa's leading EdTech accelerator, Africa's best university, and the Tony Elumelu Foundation, to name a few. And with these partners, this year, we've been able to create a voice recognition app tool, which will be launching in July 2022, which will allow students to speak and receive real-time correction. We're also doing a pilot with a primary school in South Africa, and we're adding additional languages growing into Southern and East Africa. With our bootstrap budget, we were able to create 12 African languages courses and represent 4 countries. But with additional funding, we can reach more countries, represent more languages, and create more jobs for Africans in their home countries. So with additional funding, we'll be able to add new languages and build on our platform capabilities. We'll also be able to invest in our tutors and develop them. We're also looking for capacity building with access to EdTech networks and academic networks. Thank you for listening to our presentation. I hope that you join us in opening the African opportunity, not just for the global community, but for Africans themselves. I hope that you join us in building the digital home for African language learning and indigenous knowledge. Thank you.